Hello friends, and welcome back to Swift Guitar Lessons for another by request song tutorial. In today's session, I'm going to be revamping my lesson on the Beatles' 1965 classic, I've Just Seen a Face. Now I'm going to take you through that iconic intro, and also the chord progressions and walk-in transitions for the verse and chorus sections. These are extremely useful techniques. These are things that you can apply to thousands of other songs and also your own original work. I got a full PDF study guide at patreon.com/swiftlessons, complete with tabs and a chord sheet. You can become a member there and gain access to tons of extra resources to help you with your study. Now let's get started with a full demonstration of the tune for you to jam along with later.
Just seen a face, I can't forget the time or place where we just met. She's just the girl for me, and I want all the world to see we've met. Die, 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 die. Had it been another day, I might have looked the other way, and I'd have never been aware. But as it is, I'll dream of her tonight. Die, 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 die. Falling, yes, I am falling, and she keeps calling me back again. I'd have never known the like of this. I'd been alone and I had missed things and kept out of sight, but other girls were never quite like this. Die, 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 die. Falling, yes, I am falling, and she keeps calling me back again. Falling, yes, I am falling, and she keeps calling me back again. I just seen a face, I can't forget the time, a place where we just met. She's just the girl for me, and I want all the world to see we've met. Die, 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 die. Falling, yes, I am falling, and she keeps calling me back again. Falling, yes, I am falling, and she keeps calling me back again. Yes, I'm falling, yes, I am falling, and she keeps calling me back again.
Okay, close look at the fretboard and also my pick in hand, getting started with our intro section. We're in standard tuning, and we have a capo here on the 2nd fret, putting us in the key of A major, but we're going to be playing in G position, so we will discuss some of these techniques as if we're playing in the key of G. Additionally, before we get started, I want you to know that I'm going to be calling the frets by their actual fret number, not relative to the capo. That's going to make it a lot easier to see where we are as we move up into the higher frets. Okay, a slow demonstration of this intro section. It's going to sound like this. Just like that. Okay, breaking that down, it began with a long strum on the G major chord. We're going to walk down, go down a half step on that low E string, then play the 2nd fret of the low E string, which is held down by the capo. So it's open. It's a classic walk down for G major, which takes you to E minor in so many different popular songs. Once you've done that walk down, we're going to go back and forth on the high E string and G string, using that hybrid pick-in. Middle finger on the high E string, pick on the G string. So that's that 2nd fret held down by the capo there, so it's open. Put all that together, we have Okay, our next position is going to be the literal 6th frets and 5th frets of the G and high E string, middle finger and index finger. And if you're advanced enough, you want to try to slide up into that first note. Then we're going to go up to the 11th fret and the 9th fret. We put all those positions together and we have. Okay, next we're going to go to 14 and 14. And we're going to start another walk up, going down to the 11th fret and 10th fret now. 12 and 12. And then 14 and 14 again. Where we're going to double it. Okay? Let's play everything we have so far, following along using your tablature at patreon.com/swiftlessons. We have. Okay, doubling that 14th fret position. Okay, now our final bit, we're going down 1/2 step with the middle finger, and the index finger is taking the 12th fret of the high E string. So 13 and 12. Bring that down a whole step for the entire intro section. Okay, let's play that entire intro section now. Okay, now we'll get into the verse section. Okay, excellent work everybody. We have that iconic intro down. Now we're jumping into the verse section. I'm going to teach this to you in several different layers. First, just talking about the chords we're going to be needing. Then we'll get into the number of beats per chord, the country style strumming pattern, and then we'll add in the final element, which is going to be those walk-in transitions. Okay, so the chords needed. This is another basic 1, 6, 4, 5 progression. So if we're looking at this in G position, that would be G major, the E minor shape, the C major shape, and the D major shape. So a 1, 6, 4, 5 in G, okay? But remember, we have this capo here on the 2nd fret, which actually puts everything up a whole step. So all these chord names, if you're jamming with another musician who's not using the capo or is on a different instrument, you want to call these chords by their actual pitches, their actual names. So it'd be A major, F sharp minor, D major, and E major. Everything up a whole step. And the fastest way to figure that out is just to look at the lowest note in the chord. So there's your G major chord root, and the 5th fret of the low E string is an A note. The 2nd fret of the low E string played over top of that E minor shape is F sharp, so this is F sharp minor. Then if I look at my C chord, take a look at my ring finger, that's the 5th fret of the A string, that's a D note, so this is a D major chord. And then your D major chord, if I look at the lowest note in that chord, is the D string open, but it's the 2nd fret there on the D string, and that's an E note. So then this is E major. So, by position or shape, G, E minor, C, D, their actual pitches, if you're jamming with another musician, is A, F sharp minor, D major, and E major. Okay, so now we have an idea as to how the capo works. We can jump into the actual progression now. So we're gonna have 16 beats on the G major shape, followed by 16 beats on that E minor shape, 8 beats on that C major shape, and then 4 beats on the D major shape, followed by 4 beats on the G major shape, before the entire sequence starts over. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, E minor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, D. 1, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so a very common stock chord progression with a very easy to remember count. Now we need to apply our country style strumming pattern to that progression. The pattern's gonna sound like this. That's 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Bass, down, up, down, up, down. That's a very common country style strumming pattern that you can apply to this entire song. You wanna give it a little bit of a gallop? Okay, just like that. And that's the easiest way to perform this song, just with those basic chord shapes and that country style strumming pattern. Okay, excellent work everybody. We have that standard country style strumming pattern. Real quick before we move on to our walk-in transitions, I just want to give you one other pattern that you can use in this tune and several other songs. And it's going to sound like this. Okay, an alternative pattern there. Bass, down, down, up, down, up. Notice how my wrist is kind of whipping. Okay, giving it that gallop, that syncopated country sound. Okay, that's an excellent pattern for you to get down as well. Okay, moving right along now, we have our chord progression down. That 1, 6, 4, 5. We have our country style strumming patterns. Or, okay, now we're ready to add in the element of walk-in transitions. Okay, taking a look at our first walk-in transition, taking us from G major to E minor, the 1-6 change. And it's going to occur on the last measure of the G major chord. At full speed, it's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now very slow. If you want to keep the pinky down, you can. Okay, so it's very simple. We're just taking the root note, then following that with a down upstroke on the high strings. Then dropping the root note down 1/2 step, and doing the same exact technique, followed by the strumming pattern over E minor. Just like that. Okay, and if you apply that to the verse, we have I've just seen a face I can't forget, the time or place where we just met. She's just the girl for me. I want all the... And that'll get us to the next walk-in transition. Okay, our next walk-in transition is going to get us from E minor to C major. Okay, it's going to sound like this. One more time. Okay, so that was very, very simple. We take the E minor chord. We're going to strike the D string, strum down, up on the high strings, G, B, and E. Remove the ring finger from that D string. And and then transition to the C major chord, where you can throw in a country pattern. Okay, if you tie all that together so far, we have, just instrumentally, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and walk. And walk. Okay, now we're ready for the transition for C major going to D major. Okay, up next we have the transition for C major to D major. Okay, and at full speed it's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And very slowly. Okay, following up with that country style strumming pattern of your choice. Okay, so the C chord, bass, down, up. Take the root down a half step. Okay, now it's the second fret relative to the capo on that A string. That's a chord that we call a C/B. All right, then we're gonna go to the D major chord, but play the open A string over top of it. And complete the country style strumming pattern. So then the bass line's going, and then that gets you back to the G chord with that third fret relative to the capo, second fret, third fret, okay? That's an optional part of this. Okay, so far we have the first transition, G to E minor, the E minor to the C, and then we have the C to the D. Okay, and then as an option, you could play it like this. Just a down, up, and then 3, 2, 3, and complete a strumming pattern. Though I tend to just omit that section. And just use my country style strumming pattern. Okay, very good everybody. We've learned everything we need to learn in order to be able to play that verse section. Very, very good. Now I'm going to play through the entire thing at a slow tempo and ask that you play along. Getting started. 1, 2, 3, G. 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 And walk. E minor. Walk, D, G, and then the whole thing will start again. Okay, excellent work everybody. We have the intro section and the verse sections complete. Now we're ready to jump into our chorus section. If you're able to get those other parts, then this is going to come along very easily. We're going to have a very simple chord progression here. It's going to go from the D major chord. We'll have that for 2 measures, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, followed by the C major chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to go bouncing back and forth between G and C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, followed by a G major to finish it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 8 beats total there on that final G major chord. Put all that together, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, C2, 3, 4, C2, 3, 4, G2, 3, 4, C2, 3, 4, G2, 3, 4, G2, 3, 4. Okay, very good. Now applying the country style strumming pattern to that progression, it's going to sound like this. Okay, so the D major chord, bass, down, down, up, bass, down, up, down, up. Okay, that's my alternative pattern there, making sure that I'm hitting the correct bass note for each of these chords, that open D string for the D chord. Then to the C chord, same exact thing, but changing my root. One pattern over G, 1 over C, and then back to the G chord for 2 patterns. Okay, so all of your choruses are going to be exactly that way. The only thing you might want to keep in mind is that the final chorus is going to be tripled. Okay, well done everybody. With what you have so far, you'll be able to make it through 90% of the song. You have that intro section, followed by the first and second verses. Then we have the chorus, followed by verse number 3. Then the chorus is going to repeat, and that'll bring us to our next goal, which is going to be to get a very simple version of this guitar solo down. Okay, so being played over top of the verse chords, we have this very simple guitar solo. It's going to sound like this. Let's break that down. Okay, so here's something that almost all of Paul McCartney's guitar players play a little bit differently. We're going to be keeping it nice and simple for this lesson. So, low E string, 3rd fret relative to the capo now. We're going to play 3, 3, 3. Followed by 0, 0 on the A string. Then back to 3, 3 on the low E string. Oftentimes that A string is kind of stuttered. Alright, then we're going to go to the A string 2nd fret, back to the 3rd fret, then we're going to do a little walk down. A string 3, 2, 0. Okay, put all that together, we have over that G major chord. Okay, then we're going to basically repeat that again verbatim. Okay, that gets you through the G major and the E minor chord. Then we're going to wrap it up over that C, D, G change. Okay, so that was 3. Open A. 3. 2, 0, 2, 3 on that low E string. Form your G major chord and strum through the rest of that chord. Okay, put all that together and we have. Okay, excellent work everybody. We have the intro, the verses, the chorus, the guitar solo. After the guitar solo, we're going to have another chorus. Then verse 4 is going to be a repeat of verse number 1, followed by a triple chorus. And on the last of those chorus repeats, we're going to have our descending transition from C major to D major and then G major. So this is really the last thing that you need to learn, and it's just the ending riff, which is something that we've already played. It's going to sound like this. Okay, coming out of the chorus would be falling, yes I am falling, and she keeps calling me back up. Hold the C chord. Okay, so reviewing the C, bass, down, up, drop the root. The D chord with the A in the bass. And then just finishing up that bass line. 3, 2, 3, and strum to finish up the tune. Congratulations everybody, you're ready to perform. Alright friends, thanks so much for checking out this Beatles guitar lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have a song that you would like me to teach next, you can click through the link in the description to swiftlessons.com and put in your requests today. Big thanks to my patrons for making all these lessons possible. I hope you're enjoying the extra resources. Thanks to you guys, I got many more videos coming up, so keep checking back. Please subscribe, please share. This is Rob at Swift Guitar Lessons in Philadelphia saying happy picking.